I did good. I did it right.
It happened.
This is another episode of CapmLew podcast. I'm CapmLew.
Are we starting completely over?
We're starting completely
right,
over.
let's do it.
This is a take 2. None of you knew that. You guys don't know how many takes it took. You don't know how
struggle,
how difficult it is to put do not disturb on a device with a touch screen.
Dude, you remember?
Okay,
it's
Boomer.
Fine.
It's just okay,
it's
Boomer.
It's fine, dude.
So we were talking about, and that's funny because I'm really glad we restarted because I had just described a Hawk versus Wolf as a mamby-pamby
Yeah,
treatment.
I definitely don't want to do that.
You don't want that on the air. You don't. Listening to Jason Ellis try to be sweet.
Don't lie, Jason.
Just like, you know what? It's one thing I love about having a podcast with 30 listeners is it doesn't matter.
Well, dude, the last one had 50. That's like more than we've ever had on the freaking Spotify.
I thought we'd broken 70.
We have, but that's YouTube and Spotify together. This one was just 50 on Spotify.
Back when we were on Podbean.
No, dude.
No?
I don't think we ever hit 50 just on Podbean.
Is that 50 on one episode?
It's 50 on one episode through one platform.
Oh, wow. That sounds like it's getting pretty serious.
Yeah, we better tighten up.
I better bring some of those. Hey, look, we're changing here at the CapmLew podcast. Yeah. Luke's going to take a step back.
Yes.
New baby, who dis?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I've already got an episode in the can. I'm probably going to break up into 3 parts. It's a Toddcast.
How long is it?
It's an hour and a half long.
Okay. So
I'll probably break it up into 3 parts.
Yeah.
What is that? That'd be 3 episodes, a half hour.
Yeah.
Because when Todd and I do an interview, it's kind of a
rangy
entrepreneurial. It touches on fatherhood and I like to podcast on skateboarding and motorcycling. I've got a life story guest coming up.
Yeah,
I do. That's JB.
Yeah.
Got a life story guest coming up. That's not scheduled because that would be too on purpose. Honestly.
Yeah, easy, Lou, easy.
It's too highbrow. That's
We're
highbrow.
one Google Calendar away from fame, dude.
No.
It burns me.
We podcast. I podcast because I have things that if I don't say them, I'm not going to sleep as well. Yeah. And that's why I'm out here contending.
Yes.
In the available to the public
sphere.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Not very public because nobody knows it's here, but available to the public sphere.
Yeah.
That skateboarding is a good lens to begin a deeper exploration of what life is even about.
Sure. And
that skateboarding is a great community to speak to because just by beginning to put gears together on, hey, I think it's, is it Solomon or the prophets who asked the age-old question, why so serious? Why? How could something like skateboarding become so dreadfully important to so many, mostly men?
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude.
And where is Jordan Peterson when you need him?
Dude, he's talked about skateboarding.
Yeah, he has.
It's actually fascinating.
A lot is made about the perseverance and the this and the that and the other. I was talking to a street skateboarder the other day. Great conversation. Yes, I do get along with some people.
Just some people.
I've become accustomed to being like really controversial and kind of hated.
Sure.
Which it's fine. It's fine until you can't go to the skate park and be safe.
Yeah,
That's less fine, but at the same time, that's fine too.
That's also fine.
It is also fine. I can accept that as the cost of doing business as a free human soul, speaking freely about public things. I can take that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
go ahead.
We were talking, and we were talking about these things like the Jordan Petersons and who's the comic in the car with coffee? Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And he was in a car and he was talking about how, the skateboard kids are going to be okay, because they fall down, they get up, they fall down, they try, and then they get it and they all celebrate. And that is actually one of the sweetest things about skateboarding.
It's very cool.
The bro, the
Yeah.
high five, the bro hugs, the celebrations, that seems very sweet. But I will continue to point out a relatively sinister undertone.
Go ahead.
Are you familiar with where I'm going with that?
I'm pretty. I mean, it's like one of 3 options. I don't know which one you're gonna pick.
Why don't you guess? Give it a shot, bro.
Well,
come on, Steely. This is one of your last podcasts.
Yeah, here. Let me guess. let me guess. One was gonna be sinister undertone of strip mining of young people.
That's good. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the strip mining of talent by sponsors.
By sponsors, yeah.
Right.
Feeling pressure to break yourself off repeatedly for the sake of what you thought was going to be fandom and money, which is actually like relative, like mediocre fandom, like 100,000 followers on Instagram and not a whole lot of money.
Solid.
Actually,
Solid. So you've got the one part of the sinister undertone. All these guys are fairly rose-colored glasses about skateboarding, because
Right.
they say you learn toughness, perseverance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true. Yeah.
You do. So the toughness, I'm going to just put toughness.
Yeah.
Which is a very important. If you're going to be dumb, you've got to be tough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the toughness, and I think we'll add perseverance to the list.
Sure.
Yeah, because perseverance is a good character quality. If it's okay. So you talked about the fame thing, fame and money.
Fame and money.
So what I do is I turn the S in fame to a dollar sign.
Ooh.
Except there is no
S. I was like, hold on. I was
fame.
like, oh, that's nice. And then I was like, hold on.
The S is silent because
the S
it
in
says
silence
dollars.
Fame. Yeah.
So
fame
so
and money.
The fame one is the sinister undertones,
yeah.
right? I actually just after podcasting with me for this long, just my brain.
Yeah.
And then what else is there?
The prolific abuse of drugs and alcohol. So like some guy lands a massive trek down a massive thing, but the reason he's not broke off is because he's still hungover from the night before or actively drunk.
I would put party culture, but instead I wrote a culture of sexual abuse and drugs.
Yeah, that's that's fine.
SA and substance abuse, which also spells SA. Yeah. You've got it. Okay, so now we're really getting somewhere.
Right.
Because what I pointed out to the younger Ripper, straight Ripper.
Yeah.
Amazing like video parts guy.
Yeah.
King of battles.
Yeah.
Like literally has had filmers snap his board just to stop him throwing himself down stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Head injuries, blood everywhere. This guy is a savage.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Right. And I have a certain kind of respect. My respect is tempered by my
care.
By I'm like Craig from Parks and Rec. Donna asks him, like, do you have some sort of a condition that you have not taken your medicine for or have taken way too much of it for? And he said, my only condition is called caring too much.
Yeah, he's like,
and it's
yelling.
incurable. So that's me.
Yeah,
I saw that clip this morning.
Yeah, it's so
when
good.
I woke up this morning, I was going through this. I was doom scrolling.
Yeah, doom scrolling.
And
classic.
Yeah. So all right. So here's where I'm at. I'm like, I think the toughness and perseverance and all of the other associated elements are good to develop.
It's true.
But they're like, it's like but what direction are they pointed in?
Well, it's funny to me because, you can say, oh, these guys are tough because they're throwing themselves down a handrail.
Yeah, that takes toughness.
But I'll be damned if somebody has to, make a phone call to get a doctor's appointment or like figure out some sort of child support thing or, do any sort of adult responsibility. And that toughness seems to kind of melt away,
Very interesting. That's a really good observation. Yeah, because all of a sudden the toughness melts away.
Yeah.
So
right.
the toughness is definitely present
Right.
when there are bro hugs,
Right.
when there are high fives, and when there are clips that are going to get applause and kudos
Yeah.
and like that. And my observation is that largely um, skateboarding, which I do and enjoy,
Hmm.
and I'm looking forward to do. It's December 16th.
I know it's like
It's
50 degrees.
50 degrees. This is
Sunshine.
what
Yeah.
it's like in Cincinnati.
I like it.
Everybody wants to gripe about late fall and winter. We only have winter, January and February here.
Yeah, it's
We
not bad.
really do.
It's not bad.
We have 25 degrees in the morning, 55 degrees in the afternoon for a good grip of the year.
Yeah.
That's late February, March.
Yeah.
It's a really cool place to live. Don't tell anyone
Yeah.
because
Do not. Whatever you do.
yeah, but because they'll turn it into L.A.
Oh,
and San Francisco,
in Austin.
and Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
and
Right.
soon to be Nashville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, actually, Nashville's on the way. Yeah.
And so Nashville's been grimy for a while.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man. Anywhere where people are getting famous and making a whole lot of money for doing stuff that everyone ought to be doing. Everyone should be writing songs. Everyone should be playing music. Everyone should be making art.
Hmm.
The creation and creativity of those things really ought to belong to everyone. It's something America has lost.
True.
It's it's true that there are people who are great at something, and it's fine to acknowledge that and affirm it with our attention. That's fine. Um, but like we've made it so rare by making it so special.
Sure.
By putting it on a pedestal, we've also distanced it from our lives.
Right.
So the creation of art, the creation of music, the performance of music, like we don't perform music. We consume music, we consume art. And that's a very artificial and superficial culture. And
Hmm.
honestly,
Go ahead.
I think it has sinister undertones.
There he is.
Yes.
There he is.
Sinister undertones.
Let me guess, Lou. Sinister undertones?
Yes, sinister undertones. That's right. So,
I love
and
it.
you know, that's why the 35 to 50 listeners who do listen come here. They love to enjoy a little bit of discourse on. But I'm not only pointing out sinister undertones and the dark capitalism upon those things.
True.
Here's the thing. Toughness and perseverance learned in skateboarding. Outsiders look at that and they say, "Well, that's a good thing."
Yeah.
But it's only good when it's pointed in a direction that is
Superficial?
no, it's good when it's pointed in a direction that is let me
Mm-hmm.
yes, you learn toughness and perseverance, but you learned it so that you would be included
Yeah.
and approved of by peers
Yeah.
and superiors in a culture who are largely kind of not great. Now, do you see what I'm saying?
No, I do. It's just like an indictment of an entire culture. I like
It
it.
is it's an indictment of
Yeah.
the larger body of skateboarding participants.
Yeah.
You've got a problem.
Yeah.
And the problem is okay, you know, you did that down like a 10 set, 11 set, 14 set. These are big,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Hollywood 16.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know,
Ugh.
why? What's your why?
I was driven by shame. It's a hell of a drug. Shame is a hell of a drug.
See, the thing is, like, you're right.
Oh, it's 100% right, dude.
It's so strange because pride is a coin,
Mm-hmm.
and on the one side is glory, and on the other side is shame.
Yeah.
And what an ephemeral, passing, temporary glory it is to do a trick.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, here's your skateboard, your rolly toy, you know, and riding it at all is a trick.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, yeah.
But the disqualification of just, you know, just riding the thing and well, that, you know, he can't skate. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He can't skate.
He's on his
I
board right now.
just saw him riding his board, and he went all the way around the thing. I mean, he went around the thing, and then he came back.
He's back now.
He didn't
What do
even,
you mean?
and he didn't even put his foot down. Like, what are you talking about? You can't skate. You know,
Yes.
like he's not a real skateboarder. Really quick. Okay, if you're a skateboarder at all, you're not real. Okay.
Yeah.
like what is this real skateboarder thing? But the thing is, there are people who deeply believe in this,
Sure.
even though they don't know what it is in which they deeply believe.
Yeah.
It's been an unquestioned like edifice
Yeah.
that is unexplored, because the exploration of it exposes that it's Swiss cheese, man. It's in China, they pour this concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Doesn't have enough lime in it or whatever.
it doesn't have enough of whatever in it, and they call it tofu dreg.
Yeah.
So the dregs of tofu are the leftovers when you make tofu,
Oh, yeah.
and you can just put your finger right through this concrete.
Yeah, it's bad.
There's a lot of video
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out, and China's trying to stop it from coming up, but they built entire skyscraper, like
Yeah,
huge entire cities
right.
of this concrete that 5-10 years later you can just put your finger through the foundation,
Yeah, rough.
and they're condemned.
Yeah.
And completely uninhabited ghost cities.
Yeah.
That's what the intellectual mental edifice of skateboarding is.
Sure.
Like, you go into the core shop with the cool guys, that cool guy culture, that elite skateboarding core,
Right.
the skate jocks who they no longer can gatekeep like they used to.
Yeah.
You know, the tide has risen, and their chicken wire barriers for keeping out the kooks have
Right.
been inundated by a tsunami of
Right.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, so
Right.
you know, but if they could regulate, if they could turn back time, if they could find a way, that's share
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah. I
Right?
was like, hold on.
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah, they'd take back those words. No, they would multiply the words that hurt you. And you would not be allowed to stay. If they could reach the stars,
Stop, dude.
they would
stop.
give none of them to you.
Stop, dude.
Right?
Siri, what song is this?
So, you know, they've you know, like you say, they've lost but the problem is, I don't want them to be lost
Yeah, me neither.
to the consequences of long-term sinister undertones.
Yeah.
In an emotional, mental edifice of thinking that really they haven't explored. I want to offer some thought to the spheres.
Yeah.
That will help them think this through, because what it comes down to, what Seinfeld and Chris Rock and Jordan Peterson and, you know, they're saying is a good thing, is only a good thing when it is directed in a constructive way.
Correct. Agreed.
And, you know, you're mentioning, like, yeah, they have all this toughness and everything, but as soon as it's time to, like, raise a child,
Yeah.
or maintain a healthy relationship, or
right.
or not just get a job, but to develop
a vocation.
skill
Yeah,
and
right.
career, to explore vocation,
Yeah.
which is comes from a Latin term that means calling.
Hmm.
You know, or to deal with what happens after we die.
Sure.
You know, that's a big deal.
That's a big question.
And it's a highly neglected, because everyone dies and they're dead for the rest of their time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
And that's a lot longer time than they're alive.
Yeah.
And the exploration of these things, because skateboarding it's been cultivated in a way that helps you ignore these things.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I rarely.
It's a messed up culture, bro.
I'm trying to think of a example of a person that I've met that has taken the toughness and perseverance that they've gained through skateboarding and applied it into other areas of their life in a meaningful way. And like
someone that skateboarding did not retard.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that there are examples. I can't think of one right now.
He's sure that there are examples, and he can't think of one right now.
Exactly.
Because they are actually
few and far between.
There are a lot of people who claim that skateboarding developed their drive and their, I don't know, acumen,
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I'm not buying it.
Acupuncture.
I'm not buying it. I think that their own drive and their own discipline drove their skateboarding into excellence, and probably it was a similar drive
Yeah.
and gifting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gifting present
Yeah.
in some people are more gifted in some ways than others. Is this okay? I'm
Dude,
not making an argument
I
for
cannot
I'm not
believe you
making
said
an
that.
argument for two genders right now.
Yeah, and
But
right here.
but 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 I am arguing that, hey, some people have higher aptitudes for
Yeah.
the physical arts. Something about a cerebellum,
Yeah.
something about,
Inner ear function.
sure,
Yeah.
you know, there's a form of memory. Do you know about this? The
Go ahead.
cerebellum and the memory.
No. What is this?
It's a memory of our body's position.
Oh.
And a person, it's memory that translates into predictive process. And
Dude.
people who are able to do multiple flips and stuff
Yeah.
have either developed or they have better connections in their cerebellum, which is our movement center,
I've been trying to figure
and
out.
they actually are using memory
Yeah.
and prediction
Yeah.
to plan that. When I do a flip,
Yeah.
the funniest thing happens to me.
You lose the ground.
I lose everything.
Yeah. You don't even know what's up, what's
I
down.
have never been here before. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I
Like
just turn
mid
into
flip. Like, huh.
I turn into
Yeah.
I'm like when I was young, I went out for the tumbling team at
Mm-hmm.
my college because I could jump. I could do spinning
Yeah.
kicks. I
Sure.
was
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
flexible,
Right.
and I had no idea how these guys were doing it. And I started trying to learn backflip,
Yeah.
and I was like, nope, I'm done. Peace out.
Yeah. Like just.
Because
Yeah.
that whatever that development of that part of the brain is,
Yeah.
nope,
Dude,
I
that's
don't have that yet.
so
It
interesting.
can be developed,
Well,
but at what cost?
at
I
what
didn't have a
price?
why.
Yeah, you didn't have a why.
I didn't have a
There have been
why.
instances skating with other people when I'll do something maybe that's a little bit on the edge of sketchy or something, and I get away with it, and they'll say something like, "How did you do that?" And the only definition that, or the only reason I can give is, I don't know. I just could feel it. I could feel. I knew that things were going to be in the area that they were going to be in, and that the timing was correct. And I wonder if that's connected in some way.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Science.
There's more. But what about the ungifted? I've always been arguing, like we're really think we have a lot to say about a lot of things, especially about sexual abuse and getting kids involved in drugs.
Yeah.
These are not skateboarding, but they are a strong part of shop cultures and a strong part of the progenitors
Yeah.
culture. Um, eh, but this simple issue in skateboarding of the ungifted, the role of the ungifted in
Sure.
skateboarding,
Yeah.
people who are low aptitude. I am a low aptitude skateboarder,
Sure.
but I come from 1987, where doing a Smith grind was a really good move. Turns out they are epic.
They're freaking sick,
They're
dude.
just
Yeah.
just throwing a Smith
Oh,
grind
yeah.
all the way across something is
Oh,
just a great moment.
yes.
So I'm glad that I
Yeah.
come from a time and I've stayed in a time where there are these like they're they're quintessential
Yeah.
kinetic expressions. But what is a Smith grind? It's surfing. It's smack the lip
Yeah.
and get pitted.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So pitted.
Yeah. Right.
Right? That's what's happening with me on a skateboard.
It's freaking sick.
And as I grow older, and the rise and fall of my physicality is something that we all deal with. I'm having a great time dealing with the emerging limitations of older age,
Sure.
because I never assigned value in my skateboarding
Mhm.
my whole life. I never assigned value to the personal value to the achievement of tricks. And there are a whole bunch of things I just don't want to do. They're not worth it. I don't have a why that would drive me to get into the handrail game.
Did you? How do I want to ask this question? Feels important. You didn't have a why to learn how to do super gnarly tricks.
I never needed.
You never
I
needed it.
never needed my bros.
Yeah.
Any bro
Mm-hmm.
who wouldn't own me as a guy, as a skateboarder friend.
Yeah.
Okay, just because I don't flip my board,
Yeah.
they failed my test.
Right.
I'm a pot that has a bottom and I stand on it,
Did
you
you?
know?
Because I feel very similarly, but I like when I go to the skate park, I like trying stuff that I haven't done before. I like challenging myself. That is a part of what makes skateboarding fun for
And
me.
that's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm not
Do you
placing,
have that
no, I'm not placing a value judgment on personal
preference?
progression
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
preferences.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I do not value progression in my skateboarding.
Sure.
I have a different word. The word is development.
Sure.
I love development in my skateboarding. For example, for years, I just never did bonelesses.
Yeah.
I didn't like bonelesses when I was a kid because I wanted to be able to ollie over a shopping cart laid on its side
Yeah. Yeah.
without a bump. You
Amen.
know,
Right.
that was where it was at. And I wanted to have big ollies.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friends who did bonelesses also didn't do them well.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of friends who did bonelesses and they really didn't do them well. I had a friend, he was a formative skateboarding friend, and he did these like they were ollie finger flips. They were all he wanted to do, and they were all he tried all the time were ollie finger flips.
Tough. Yeah.
He would reach down with his hand and he would pop the tail of his board, flip the board, and try to land on it. And
Sure.
he, sure enough,
Mm-hmm.
he got finger flips. But the entire time I was 13,
Yeah.
12, 13 at the time. And the entire time he was doing finger flips, I was trying to ollie to 50-50 stall on
Yeah.
taller and taller
Yeah.
things.
Heck yeah.
I was obsessed with 50-50 stalls.
Mm-hmm.
He was obsessed with finger flips. We skated every day in the beginning. We were, they moved to the highest level of junior high. We were seventh graders
Yeah.
or ninth graders, 13, ninth grade.
Yeah.
They moved us to the high school.
Yeah. Great.
Eighth graders. We
Eighth
were
grade
eighth grade,
in high
moved to the
school.
high school.
Yeah.
I got to figure that out. I can't remember. But we were the youngest in a 4 years of high school, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We were
Yes.
ninth graders. And afterwards, we'd go to the pizza place
Mm-hmm.
after school, and we'd catch the late bus home
Heck
and
yeah.
have an hour and a half or so of skating.
Heck yeah.
And he also was obsessed with rail slides,
Okay.
and I wanted to grind.
Yeah.
I wanted to grind my trucks.
Yeah.
There was no wax. We didn't even know
Right.
about wax. And we had a great time together. We were just different. That's
Yeah.
something I loved about it.
Absolutely.
That choice of progression or
Mm-hmm.
development, and I'm always like, whatever I do on my skateboard, I want it to come out of something else that I liked doing on my skateboard.
Okay.
So I try to follow the way of what I'm already doing into the thing I'll do next.
Sure. I like
And
that.
that's given me over the years, it's low risk, it's slow development,
Mm-hmm.
it's low ambition,
Sure.
but it means every single thing I'm doing on my skateboard is not fearful.
Yeah.
I don't have to stop a lot.
Yeah. Praise
Yeah.
God.
Like
Yeah.
Smith grinds,
Yeah.
right? Then I started doing Smith stall to tail. Then you start doing 5-0 grind to tail.
Yeah.
Just like adding
Yeah.
something into something. And they used to do reverts too. I would go 5-0
Oh.
grind to tail. Maybe I'd get an inch or two of tail
Front
slide.
side revert.
Front side
Okay.
to a front side revert,
Revert,
down the thing.
You're
Backside reverts are always too scary for me. I
That's-
never liked swinging my shoulders and hips.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Blind side, open side.
Yeah.
But I had kids. So
True.
I'm not going to skate enough
Yeah.
to develop every single thing, especially without a good athletic gifting.
Sure.
I have a sufficient athletic gifting to be able to learn just about anything, but I have to work a lot harder
Yeah.
on like reverts both ways, right? I always do open side reverts,
Yeah.
front side.
Yeah.
Backside reverts, can I do them? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I could go out and I could start learning them today, but I don't want to
Sure.
because I'm going to fall a whole bunch of times. And I have people that depend on me,
Right.
and I don't want to have that trick
Yeah.
more than I want to just do tricks I already know.
Sure.
This makes me a bad person.
Wow, dude.
You know,
What the
no, this makes me like the worst guy in Cincinnati because I'm
Oh,
actually contending on behalf of so many people who I'm in your face right now. If you are a high achievement skateboarder, I'm telling you that you should sort out your whys. Now,
yeah.
you're describing a very common good. I like to make up stuff on my board.
Yeah.
I like to try things. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I tell you, man, if you if you can't live with yourself,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I
No,
mean?
no, that
If
is way more
you
important.
if you are miserable and okay, here's a public warning.
Go
If
ahead.
you also are making everyone else miserable,
Yeah.
if you're gassing that out,
Yeah.
you're going to experience
Some
some
pushback.
good-natured ribbing from
Yeah.
old Lou.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact of the matter because being a slave isn't as good as being free.
Yeah.
And when you are riding your skateboard, if you're exhibiting slavery vibes, slave to the approval of other people, slave to people thinking you did a great job, you know, if that's where it's at for you, you have a problem.
It's true.
I think it's true. It's my opinion.
Well,
Just, you
yeah,
know,
no, absolutely. It's funny because like I like going to the skate park and doing stuff that I already know how to do because I do stuff that I think is fun. Then I kind of hit a point where I start to feel a little bit bored.
hmm
And I'm like, okay, I want to try something new and maybe something a little bit hard that I've never done before. And
hmm
that's exhilarating to me. The challenge is exhilarating. But thankfully, especially as a Christian and especially as I've matured as a human being on the planet, just realizing this is important inside of this domain
hmm
and this domain is unimportant. You know what I mean?
boy, oh
Like,
boy.
like this has no this represents no real value on who I am as a person or my life. At the same but because it's in this place, I can challenge myself and either do or not do whatever it is that I want to do, and if
Yeah.
I do it, that's super fun. And if I don't do it, then the challenge of trying something new was really fun, you know? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of freedom there. I really enjoy that. I really do. But I get bored easy. I'm a little bit like
Yeah.
ADHD on my skateboard, you know? I'm like, well, okay. Though frontside freaking scratchers on like maybe a little noping piece. It's hard to get bored of that.
Or like that, the back of that bank top jersey wall, uh,
Oh, yeah.
bull corner
Oh,
cup
yeah. Oh, yeah.
at Batesville.
Oh, yeah. That thing is a freaking
See, like,
treat.
I'm
It's
a
a delicacy.
I'm not saying that the kind of skateboarder I am is superior to other kinds of skateboarders.
Okay.
That's one of the things.
Yeah.
However,
However, to be fair,
to be fair,
it
I
is.
am saying that there are some sinister undertones to
Yeah.
the idea of achievement
Yes.
on skateboards.
Agreed.
And I think it's important that we be critical thinkers
Yeah.
as we are individuals. I'm talking to like kids on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like kids on YouTube, like kid, if there's something you're afraid to try, it's probably because part of you knows that you're going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So you may not be a kid who you might be moving too fast and you might be too swept up in what your friends think
Mm-hmm.
to make a really good judgment. But the higher risk isn't that you're going to break a bone. The higher risk is that you're going to ingrain a pattern of taking risks and developing toughness, all in the interest of pleasing the people around you.
Correct.
That is the sinister undertone is the development of an entrenched mentality of serving the pleasure and approval of people around you. That is something that skateboarding has really built in to a lot of people.
Agreed.
It's Well, it's sinister.
And it's
And it's
under.
even more sinister because it's an undertone. It's always ringing in the background like that,
Yeah,
like the
yeah, the siren call.
explosion goes
Yeah, like,
off and you "Ooh," in the
yeah,
background and your
right.
ears are ringing. It's always there.
Yeah,
And it leads to terrible
stop,
things.
dude.
Leads to things like this.
Head tranches.
You don't want a head tranche.
Yeah, dude.
You become a YouTuber and you put the headphones on just so you can be cool, and you wind up with a head that looks like
A
that.
head trench, dude.
That would people would have to go way back in the episodes to catch that
Oh
one.
yeah,
That was in
it's
Todd
fun.
Bean days.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that was a glory days. That's true. It
So,
is. There are sinister undertones, and I
and
like.
I'm against them.
I know, and I'm
I'm
against them,
against it.
and I appreciate it, and I am too. I like the distinction of the nuances that we're talking about because, again, toughness and perseverance. It's not that these things are bad. It's not that wanting to be better and better at your skateboarding is bad. It's not what we're saying. We're saying the direction. Hey, watch where you point that thing. Just watch where you point that thing because
Yeah.
these things are really important. And you can kind of put your life on the rocks over long periods of time,
And you
kind of
wouldn't know it.
accidentally. Yeah, you
You
almost
wouldn't
wouldn't
even
even
know it.
know it,
It's like a
right?
frog in a pot.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're 26 years old and you committed a felony because
Uh,
because you learned to care more about what people think of you
yeah.
than you care about what's right or wrong.
Yes.
And the learning of how to distinguish between what's important and not important
Yeah. Yeah.
is retarded by devotion to bro hugs.
Yes.
Um, it's tough, but
Yeah.
you know what? Life is tough,
Yeah.
and it's it's kind of funny. I'd be happier with skateboarding if it was a little less like giving a guy glory for jumping down a thing when there's like a wall at the bottom and they're not even going anywhere.
Oh,
Or
I
I'm saying it,
know,
the
dude. I
signs were
know. The
there.
signs were there.
It's going no
Land into a power slide into the wall.
break
Yeah.
break your toe.
Break your toe. The
Yeah.
glass shatters of the door, the corporate headquarters you're
Yeah,
at. You
but
have to run.
in you get all those cheers at the premiere, the
Right.
video
The freaking
premiere.
premiere.
I think that's over with already. I
I don't
think it's
know, dude.
with YouTube and everything, and like I'm really tracking. A guy he just did a 20-minute video
Hmm.
on Catercilla.
Oh, how was it?
Yeah, he basically brought up some 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 points about like wow,
Yeah.
you know.
It's descriptive, my guy.
He brought
Yeah,
up some of
like,
those points that
wow.
are like wow.
Whoa, wow.
Not
That's so funny.
not sure that this is uncritically like he was a little bit, he was a skater and he was in that lane. I think that skateboarding as a people
Mm,
has an entrenched tolerance at best for a culture that really allows a pretty good volume to these sinister undertones of caring more about what other people think and say about you than about what kind of person you're actually becoming.
yeah.
And there's a lot of compensation available to people who will sell out their own character to the back clapping, glad handing,
Yeah.
high fives, and bro hugs and film clips that are seriously not doing you any good in your real life. And it's a good thing to think about, just like it's a good thing to think about the way that we all die.
Sure.
And so uh, I don't know why my character or personality were so when I was young, I
Yeah.
was just as dumb as anyone else. Okay. And I did a ton of stupid stuff, just like any growing young man
Sure.
does. Um, really, I was no different from anyone else except in skateboarding from like maybe it's because I did my first almost year of 6 months, 9 months of skateboarding
Hmm.
alone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it,
Sure.
that I rode my skateboard and learned how it worked, all driven by what I was discovering on my own.
Sure.
That was just blacktop and asphalt curbs.
Dude.
And you know
Yeah.
I think
Monk style.
and it was
Yeah.
like a monastic thing. I was
Yeah.
I was an isolated kid. I lived 20 minutes outside the suburban areas. I
Yeah.
lived, kind of in the sticks. And so maybe that's a part of it.
Oh, dude, I got a question.
Yeah.
When was the first time you actually went to a skate park? Because there weren't skate parks in your area, I'm sure, in 1985 or whatever.
I went to a skate park in, I can't remember the name of the town, was in New York. It had a vert ramp,
Okay.
and then it had, like, around the edges, some garbage obstacles.
Okay. So it was one of them.
And I I was completely, I didn't drop in on the vert ramp or nothing.
You were like unimpressed?
No. Actually, fun fact, I
Mm.
have one strong memory. Besides being cold
Yeah.
and being pretty miserable, it was a
Yeah.
very aggressive environment.
Yeah.
I was young,
Yeah.
maybe 14.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there were a whole bunch of guys on the vert ramp
Yeah.
in, like, tough skin jeans,
Okay.
like, just like really not in
Kind of
the
lurkers.
not in the street fashion,
Yeah. Yeah.
and knee pads.
Yeah. Okay.
And this one guy, he was skinny, he was wearing jeans, and I was watching him, and he never did airs because all the other guys were doing airs and bailing,
Yeah. Yeah.
airs and
Yeah.
bailing, airs
Sure.
and bailing. This guy was doing Smith grinds all the way across the thing,
Oh.
and it was like every time, all my memories of looking at that vert ramp, this guy was hitting the lip,
Yeah.
locking in, and just riding that Smith grind across it.
So sick.
He was not doing flip tricks on
Yeah.
the lip that hadn't been done yet.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
in the
Yep.
early 90s, and this was in the mid 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like 86,
Yeah.
87. And I remember thinking, I want to ollie over garbage cans, so that's not my thing.
Sure.
But it sure caught my eye, and it was pretty cool.
Maybe informed your love of the frontside Smith grind.
Maybe
long term.
Maybe.
Dude, that's sick.
It's a memory. But that was the first. Another time was at 13. I went to a skate competition across the border in Connecticut,
Okay.
and I'll remember the name of the town sometime. But I went to this comp in Connecticut, and it was miserable.
It was
I was
miserable.
miserable.
It was miserable.
I was not. That was when guys who won the competition did flat ground kickflips, where the tail, rocket style
Yeah, yeah,
kickflips,
yeah. Right.
And if a guy would do two of those in a run, he would win
Oh my
because it was
gosh.
a kickflip.
Yeah.
And guys who could ollie over, like your mom and them,
Yeah.
were losing to guys who were doing a kickflip.
Your mom and them.
I watched a few runs, and then my friends and I just played around with our skateboards outside.
Nice.
We just weren't that level. We were the little brothers of the people who were establishing levels in New York.
Sure.
And then that was one. And then I went to a competition in Middletown, New York one time, and I rode all the way out to Middletown. The guy who drove me out,
Mm-hmm.
he had a Malibu station wagon with a big old V8 in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's quite a sporty family vehicle.
A sporty family vehicle.
He called it the Hell Wagon 2000.
The Hell Wagon
Skatemobile.
2000.
Hell Wagon 2000 skatemobile.
There he is.
And when he drove that, his dad was a state cop.
Okay.
So he knew all the tricks. And back then, he drove 100 all the time.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That was super fast.
Dude,
right?
so fast, yeah.
So you know how he avoided the cops? Binoculars.
He would have
He had binoculars, and he would use binoculars to see where the cops were.
Bro.
So he could slow down.
That's such a bad idea, dude.
He had the mother load of bad ideas. And sadly, he died of a drug overdose.
No.
Very sad. He was an amazing creative and a person who I valued as a friend. I broke the bro code and dated someone that he liked.
Oh,
and it was the end of our friend. And then I became a Christian. And when I became a Christian, that made everything weird.
Yeah, right.
But making things weird is what I do now.
It's what I do.
It's part of it. So,
dude, that's insane.
First skate parks were those.
Yeah,
but the first time I skated a skate park.
Yeah, like actually skated
an
skate
actual
park.
concrete skate park.
Yeah.
Also, there was a pool.
Okay.
It was named Pulaski Pool.
Okay.
It wasn't the famous Pulaski Pool. It was in New York, in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I skated the shallow end of Pulaski. There was ice in the bottom
Okay.
the deep end,
Great.
and still
Yeah.
the heavy hitter that we had with us, he was still carving around that ice and getting an ollie air
What?
on the wall.
Dude, good for
And
him.
that
That's
thing
crazy.
had like 6 feet of vert.
Oh my gosh.
And guys would hit the lip in that pool. It was
That's
just
nuts.
not built
Yeah.
for skateboarders.
Holy
So it
moly.
wasn't until I moved to Ohio
What?
that there were,
No.
yeah, in 2000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Oh,
that's like
no,
after college?
no. I lived in Florida. I skated street in Florida. I skated some ramps in Florida. I didn't skate in there. When I lived in Kentucky before that,
Yeah.
I ran a skate park. I was I was the helmet police at a YMCA skate park
That's
in
hilarious.
Owensboro,
I did
Kentucky.
not know that.
Wow.
You were the
That's
helmet
right. I
police,
was the
dude.
guy who
You were the
ran the shack.
Gestapo,
I
dude.
ran the
Seriously?
shack,
Yeah.
yeah, for 6 months
Bro.
or 3 months or something.
Okay.
I did that at the YMCA. Wow. Florida before that, then the YMCA in Owensboro, then when I moved to Ohio. But and in Kentucky before that, did I skate parks? No, I skated street.
Dude, so what you're
I
telling me,
skated
this entire
street.
time you've been an OG street skater?
I mean,
Yes. The
I
answer
get
is
mini
yes. You
ramps.
bastard.
Yeah, anytime I could find a mini ramp,
Yeah.
I always loved mini ramps.
Yeah, those things are freaking sick, though.
I like them because you don't have to push.
Yeah. Yeah, and
You
there's
know,
many. They're smaller.
and they're small.
Yeah, it's
So I
fun.
can fall off of a mini ramp. Even if I fall off the ramp entirely, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Amen.
I don't want to jump down it if I can't jump up it.
Oh, all right.
It's a good rule.
That's a pretty
If
good
I
rule.
can't
But I can
jump
jump
up
pretty
it, I'm not
high.
jumping down it. Well, don't jump as high.
Don't jump as high. It's on you.
Stop jumping so
You
high.
idiot.
Gotta lowball it, bro.
Yeah. Dude, that's so fascinating because all of my skate career has been, I mean, the first time I really went to a skate park was a concrete skate park.
Was that with me?
The first skate park, yeah, as a skateboarder, yeah, was with you up to Centerville.
Centerville. I remember that you were on a cruiser.
I was on a cruiser.
I
And,
stuck you on a cruiser. I said, go around the outside.
yeah, and I did. That's what I did. I had a
said,
great time.
Go around the outside and just watch everybody and
And
enjoy
then
it.
west down, front side 50-50, the deep end of the pool, and they were like 800 blocks. I was like, oh, okay.
So Wes grew up with, he had a ramp in his backyard, and then he had a ramp next to the ramp in his backyard. So that's
Yes.
2. And then he had the
Mini ramp.
craziest tiny ramp,
Yes.
like so many mini
Yeah.
in his basement,
In his basement.
and he could shred it.
With huge vert walls
And
on it and stuff, and a spine ramp.
It wasn't even 18 inches high.
Yeah, it was like so small.
It was like a foot high.
Dude, it was crazy.
And he could actually pump it and get up on the wall ride.
Dude, massive
and rip
wall
it
rides.
and
Yeah.
and chinks and
Oh, yeah.
and like he would do blunts
Yeah.
on something that
On
the
the
trans from the coping to the flat bottom
Yeah.
wasn't even his wheelbase.
Yeah, it was
and
insane,
he could
dude.
pop a blunt
And then,
off
like,
of that back to
fakey-
flat.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
insane, dude.
He
Yeah.
was
He was a ripper.
and he grew up. He went to the Louisville skate park all
The
the
OG,
time.
the OG Louisville
OG,
skate park.
and his dad made sure that he had the opportunity to grow those skills from the time he was little,
Oh yeah.
and
It was
he could
insane.
just handle the gnarliest stuff.
Business.
He had friends who were more high amplitude and went on to like pretty good sponsorships.
Yeah.
But Weston was in the small game.
Yeah.
Like what he could do on the lip of something
Yes.
was mind blowing.
He still goes down in history as one of the.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a The tricks that he could do were so amazing.
And the way he did them.
And the way he did them was
And,
really beautiful.
You know, he had a foot injury, a terrible foot injury.
Yeah.
His foot was blown up by explosives.
Yes.
Accidentally.
Accidentally.
And he lost the front half of his front foot.
Yeah.
And still kickflipped.
Still kickflips. Yeah.
Actually, he didn't like the prosthetics, so he stuffed socks in the front of his shoe.
Yeah.
And he still kickflipped.
It's so nice. Did he lose his big toe?
He lost all of them.
Wow.
So basically, his foot looked like a fist.
Yeah, like a fist.
Yeah.
So
And they did a good job because they kept his heel, the fascia of the foot actually attached to the calf muscle all the way through.
Yep.
And they took that big toe fascia and they attached it properly so he had power
that's
to
sick.
use that for balance.
To kind of get his nub going. Yeah. Good for them.
We
dude.
love you, Weston, right now.
For realsies.
Love you
dude.
right where you
For
are.
realsies.
And so so yeah, so
Oh,
the skate parks didn't come into play for me really until I was in Ohio.
that's a
And
trip, dude.
then I worked for a company that built them
Yeah.
and had a I had a great time
Would you say that
working
there
with
was
that.
some, I don't know, sinister undertones?
Undertones, there were the
Forever and always.
the sinister nature of those undertones presents most mildly in social incompetencies. I saw some at a park opening I went to where the builder of the park showed up, and you wouldn't have known that he was the guy who built the park because he was snaking all the children so
Oh,
hard.
dude.
He was elbows out.
There you go.
Like if you're a park builder and you think this was you, all right, first thing I have to say is you're probably wrong. You don't know where this park was, and also this is a story that amalgamates from many exposures. I'll tell you a park company where the guys really weren't
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, Evergreen.
Yeah, those guys are really
Evergreen
cool. They
skate
were really
parks. The
cool.
guys are the crew that I knew in
Yeah.
the Hernando, Mississippi build
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
8 years ago, 10.
No.
Yeah. They were so sweet.
Yes.
But, you know, other well-known and prolific park builders on the opening day, you can pretty much tell who they are because you just pick the least friendly,
Yes.
most non-verbal,
Yes.
elbows out,
Yes.
snaking around,
Yes.
like
Right.
like
Right. Probably a backside disaster, front Smiths.
sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
rippers,
Rippers. Yeah.
absolute
Right.
rippers. But you know what's funny is I respect ripping less and less the more I journey in skateboarding.
Yeah.
Um, you rip, you're better than everyone else at the park. Yawn. Really. Be-
Respect to Narlu.
well, because skateboarding better than everyone else actually doesn't make new skateboarders as much as showing care for your culture, showing care for
Yeah.
the people around. I mean, is
Yeah.
it
I know.
is it too
I know.
far,
Too far, too much,
too
too
soon?
fast. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's too soon.
it's just too much.
1990 was just around the corner, Lou. It's
Yeah,
too soon.
1990 is like
20.
30.
No. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
1990
Dude, 30 years
was
ago.
30 years
Let
ago,
it
man.
die.
Get Catch up with the
Yeah,
times.
seriously, for
We
realsies.
don't we don't the sinister undertones present even further with like the pro team that comes and does like a demo,
Hmm.
but then they're like piss drunk and at the strip club. And this was all the time. This is what was like almost expected
Right. Yeah, yeah,
especially in the area I live in. This is what was expected of.
yeah.
And you can still find, your Fred Galls and people like that are still looked up to as, like epic. I love the
Mm,
emerging sobriety that you see going on.
me too.
But it's funny because you built 32 stories out of tofu dregs concrete,
Yeah, right.
and now you're building with some good solid materials, but
Yeah,
somebody's got to go back down to the
yeah,
foundations and
yeah,
go, hey though, let's repair
yeah.
let's repair these. I
Right.
don't think that really now on a building like that, one thing they'll do is they'll tear the whole thing down.
Hmm.
I'm not into the burn it all down thing.
I don't think it's possible with skateboarding,
um,
largely.
However, I do hold a strong dose of it's all going to burn.
That's true.
I really think it is important for people to look at these things through a lens of recognizing that everything you're handling in this very short life of yours is passing away.
Yeah,
On just on our side of it, you can see that death
yeah.
comes ripping. All right, that's a Misfits lyric. It's a great song. All right, death comes ripping, my guys.
Yeah.
So really, there's got to be a better why and more meaning than these sinister undertones. Let's go ahead and listen to what they're saying. They're saying that what people think about you and the acceptance of your peers
Right.
and your skate shop owner and the sponsored cool guys, they're saying that matters. I would say to you, no, it doesn't. and that thinking it matters will really retard you.
Yeah.
It'll hold you back, it'll slow you down. It will make you less intelligent
Yeah.
in
Life.
arenas of life that are very important. So
Yeah.
if this reaches you and you're one of those dear ones who have been, you mentioned the siren song.
Yeah, right.
If the
Yeah.
siren song reached you in your youth and you established your sense of what life's about based on the bros and all their bro hugging and glad handing
Right.
and the attaboys that you get for doing tricks on your skateboard, I would say it's a great idea for you to detox, deprogram, because um, that's not a good cult.
That's not even a good cult. You're gonna pick so many other good ones.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
true.
that's what we had to say today. Let's
What?
do our thing. I haven't done it in a long time.
What?
Did you guys know that this episode of the CapmLew podcast was brought to you by Life Skateboards? I ride for them.
Yeah,
And I do believe that you also enjoy some inclusion in the
I
sponsorship
do. I
roster.
need to talk to Sam about that. Yeah.
You gonna dump them?
I'm gonna dump
You're
him.
gonna dump
Nike
them.
called.
Nike
No, I just
Nike called and just said, "Here's some blanks. Put our sticker on them."
yeah, thank you so much,
These
Nike.
aren't blank. These say Flip Skateboards on them. Well, Lance Mountain puts the Nike
Yeah,
sticker on
there
them.
you go. There you go. There you go. I just need to call him to make sure we're square on that. He did give me a board last time, and I love riding his boards.
Dude,
I just don't ride a whole lot, and I need to make sure that
you don't feel like you're bringing the value.
I'm just. I don't know that I'm bringing value. It's fine. I'm also just interested in keeping my account short with everybody. So if I don't want Sam to expect basically anything from me.
I I I soak Life Skateboards for decks. Like I absolutely order them two at a time.
You like more, Sam?
Absolutely.
More.
I am like, dude,
Hook a brother up,
I
son.
love the decks
Yeah,
I
they're
get
sick.
from Life. They are
Dude,
what I was making.
I just got the sickest 9-inch popsicle.
I know.
And I've been every day at work about 12:30 or 1, I go out and I grab my board and I just sidewalk surf and street surf and do little rocket ollies over manhole covers down the cul-de-sac and back, and I'll hit the little curb cuts and do a little surf action, and my hip always hurts and my front leg always feels tight because I sit all day and I don't even care. And it's just the most nice, pleasant thing. Like it's so good to just do that. And on the life skateboard, it's so sick.
It
The
is.
nose is glorious. It's big. It just feels amazing. I'm
It
really
is.
grateful for Sam.
One thing I'd like to say about Life Skateboards is they are way better. They're just
Superior.
in every way.
Yeah.
They are better. The only thing that isn't superior about Life Skateboards is the number of them that they make.
Yeah.
They're capped at 200 a month right now. The present workshop
Sure.
without a stretch can do 200 a month. That means that
Get them while they're hot.
3,000 people nationwide can expect good turnarounds on their orders, but not more than.
Sure.
And that's really a month. That's a great
Hold on.
business.
Hold
Yeah.
on. How you said
200 boards, 200 boards
a month?
is about 3,000 customers a year. I'm
Oh, I
sorry,
was
a
like, hold on,
year.
the math is
Not a
making
month,
sense.
a
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
That
that makes
means
sense. Yeah.
that for 3,000 American skateboarders who discover this, that they can enjoy Life Skateboards as long as the club is about 3,000 people
Sure.
a year.
Yeah.
That number drops when people are ordering multiples, but
Yeah.
it's not a crazy, and it's like a really good living for the guys at Life. They're not ambitious to grand millions.
Sure.
They are craft people who want to do craft that's valuable. They value the skateboarding community. They show that value by producing really great skateboards with really great customer service. And the numbers are just much less than whatever. Yeah. I've been disappointed with some of the YouTuber engagements with Manac Skateboards, another brand like Life.
Okay.
Love Johnny Manac. Um, I've been disappointed. The YouTubers don't seem to know what they're dealing with. They don't seem to understand the value of these small craft made boards. These are not made with a highly different process to the factory boards out there. What they're made with is more attention.
Sure.
Every board gets more attention, every
Yeah.
customer gets more attention, and the intentions
Yeah.
are different as well. So if you like intentions to be manifested in good value with high attention to you, this is the kind of company you should seek out. There are others as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm super happy having my own workshop where I can resume making boards anytime I want to. I choose to enjoy life skateboards because they're everything that I set out to develop. And I'm super happy to be able to throw as much love as I can to this. This is better. It is. Now, every now and then someone will come and write a book about how, well, they're really not any, but they are.
Yeah.
They are better. And they're better than, actually, the last guy who wrote a book. They're better than, far better than the brand that you were even talking about before. They are. They're far better. So enjoy that. Enjoy that
Keeping it spicy.
for what it's worth.
For what it's worth. This
Luke,
is on you.
This is not probably your final one of these, and
it might be.
we're gonna have you in again. But if this
yeah.
if this were
Yeah.
your final, what would you say?
I don't know, dude.
That's good.
This has been good. This has been good. I've enjoyed it. I'm sure I'll be back banging around at some point. Just prioritizing other things that are more important, more pressing right now. I'm much more interested in being a good man and a godly man and a good husband and a good dad than I am with internet fame. So
I am pro that.
yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Love
friends.
you guys.
Thank you for what it's worth. CapmLew.
Laters.